go back to Taco Bell. Some guy told me that.
That would have
He
hurt
said,
me, man.
throw away your machines and go work at fucking Pizza Hut. You're never going to be a tattoo artist. I was like,
Thanks,
okay.
Dad.
All right.
So anyway, I left my house. It has come to my attention that a lot of you come here, watch the content, and don't subscribe. And that fact has been proven by those around me with a number figure of 90%. What's going on? You come here every week, you watch, just hit subscribe. That's it. That's all we want. Don't be a dick. Just hit the button.
Thank you guys for joining us on today's episode of Unemployable Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Tatu Panda. Thanks for joining us, man.
What's up, guys?
So you're born and raised Miami.
Yeah.
Right?
Super Miami, man.
Super Miami.
Yeah.
I started a early part of my career in Miami, so I think I'm only maybe regular Miami.
Okay.
I did work at a half smoke shop, half tattoo on Southwest 8th Street.
Oh, that's very
kind of
Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So you started really young though, right?
It started when I was 12.
Okay.
Like, it's the idea started when I was 12.
You're like, oh, maybe tattooing?
Yeah, no, I had this, like, I had this feeling inside me, and I had to express myself some way. Like, it was an overwhelming feeling. I'd go to sleep fucking crying, like, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I don't know why I felt so much pressure. I think I also just hated being poor, so I'm like, I gotta start working now. Like, I'm 12, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
What did that look like? Like you said, like being poor, like what was the upbringing like?
Well, I think it doesn't feel that bad. I'm gonna be real with you. When everyone around you is like when you just grow up around poverty, you don't feel special. Right?
Like when you're in it.
Yeah, when you're in it.
Right.
It didn't become apparent to me at all. Like, I didn't realize I was different, or like this wasn't, or what I didn't actually understand, like social economic differences until I got into this private school, right? I was in like a magnet program, gifted. And then, so, every year they give a certain, amount of people like our free tuition to help bring the, grades up. And smart kids from the hood to come here and like do things. And then I went there, and then I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean Mercedes Benz? What do you mean yacht? What do you mean limousine?
Oh, the other
there was a
fellow
handful
kids.
of kids that had bread there, and I was like, I didn't understand that. Before that, everything we're in the neighborhood, like everyone's the fucking same.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So it didn't become apparent to me till later, and then I was like, oh, this sucks. When you're the only one, right?
Yeah.
So when everyone is fucking broke, you all live in the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, there's no issue. And then I went to the school, and everyone's like, yo, fuck you.
Right.
Like, fuck your shoes. I'm like, what?
Now there's like major differences.
What's wrong with my shacks? I don't get it. What do you mean? Who's Michael?
Yeah.
Right. You know Michael?
I only knew Shaquille. So, I hated that shit. But I've always been gifted with like music and art. I have no idea. I just wanted to express myself. So at 12, I was just trying to find out what to do with that. And I feel like at 12, most people are trying to figure out where do I fit in? You're starting to like come to your senses, come to your body. You're like, who am I? What do I do? And then tattoo shows were quite popular. They were starting to become a thing, right? They're like semi-socially acceptable, still like lowbrow, but like we like it, but from like here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we like it on you,
Right.
We like to look at
not on our kids though.
Yeah, not on our kids.
Not on our
like
sweet Cam.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but when I saw that, I was like, wait, you can make a living doing this shit? I said, this is cool. I liked it, and I liked it a lot. And then just everyone had tattoos around me. Everyone had tattoos around me. It was like a normal thing. Like I had kids my age that had tattoos, like 12-year-olds,
right.
13, 14, and they're getting tatted. And I'm like, Mom, can I get tatted? She's like, no, boy. Yeah, I'll no fucking tattoos. Like, what? And then I was like, all right, so now I definitely got to get tatted. And she said no.
Right, that's the first test.
So, you know, I had that ODD in me. I'm saying that oppositional defiance. So I was like, all right, so now I have to do it. And then actually she brought me to a tattoo shop. I guess there was no babysitter. And she was like, all right, you got to come with me. I'm going to get a tattoo. And then I was in a tat shop, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is sick. This is really cool. And I was just fascinated by the culture. And I'm like, I can do this.
How old were you around like this time? Yeah.
And then I was like,
about your age.
I got to be honest with you. To me, it seemed really easy too. Like, I don't want to fucking, shit on the whole industry, but I looked at the flash on the wall and like, this is shit I can draw this all fucking day. Like, this is what people want on their bodies. I can do this all day, right? So I started drawing it on the spot, and one of the guys comes up to me. He's like, yo, kid, you can make a great tattoo artist. Like, I'm just drawing shit off the wall. I was like sitting there in the lobby waiting for my mom. And then I'm like, I guess so. And then my stepfather at the time, he got a tattoo. Like, they're in tandem. He's getting a portrait, she's getting a butterfly. Classic, right?
Yeah.
And he comes out, and when I see him pay, he coughed up $500. Okay, this is the year 2005. He coughs up $500, and I said, this motherfucker wouldn't spend that on anything. Like, I didn't even know we owned $500. Right. And he just gave our life savings. He's been holding out on us this whole time. Yeah, he's been holding out on us. He gave his life
for the butterfly dog
to this fucking tattoo artist. And I said, that guy's a magician. Because he just got my stepfather, who's the stingiest motherfucker, to cough up his life savings for a tattoo. Yeah. Literally. I said, oh, shit. And then I did the math. And I'm like, wait, he did 2 of those today. And there's 5 days in the week. I said, oh my God, this guy's making 2.
It's like $1 million.
$1 million. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, he's a fucking millionaire. and he still couldn't. And I knew art. I was very familiar with art within my own life. It was all I had in my own private life. When I went to my room, I had my notebook. I had my drawings, and then whenever I was anywhere, I just sat down and drew. So I knew how to draw very well. From my own personal experience, I just observed. It was a very simple process to me. Does this look like that? Like, that's it. Like, no, a little bit. Okay, let's fix it. And it was years until my eyes can perceive something. Like, either this looks like that or it doesn't. That's it. Very simple. And I could see that other people that were tattooing couldn't do that. I was like, this is objectively not it. It's not it. It looks close to it. It looks kind of like it. Okay, I can make this better. And then that's where my journey began. I said, I can do this a little bit better. And if that guy can make a living, I certainly can. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So it started with like being in that shop, being in more shops, or did it stick to that shop?
No, no. I had nothing to do with that shop. I actually ended up going back to that same. So I was at the flea market.
Yeah.
And that's all I knew. I didn't know tattoo shops existed. I didn't know how you can walk into them. They were all like, especially then, it was a very 18 and over place.
Yeah.
Especially then. Things have changed now, and like, I don't know. They have like clean radio stations.
Right.
Kids can walk in. You couldn't walk in there. There was titties being pierced.
Yeah.
There's people's cocks out, back tats. You didn't know what you were going to walk into a tattoo shop, so kids were not allowed.
It was almost like the X video places and stuff like that. It was like people would classify it in like the same range.
Funny enough, when I got into business later, I found out that they're also zoned the same.
Right, they're sin businesses.
Yo, yeah. So you can't put either of those businesses within like, I forget, like 1,000 yards or 2,000 yards of a school, a church. Right. So
you may start believing in Satan if you do that. I've heard.
So they're classified the same.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
So you're in the flea markets. That's like what you knew?
Flea markets, yeah. So I knew to go back to the flea market. Like, I was telling my mom, like, get me a tattoo machine. Because she's like, no.
Right.
You're 12.
Right.
So I'm like,
go to school.
dude. I'm like drawing Flash every day. I didn't get into the high school that I wanted. I wanted to get into, like, art high school so I can get art class. I never had art lessons. Like, never. So I'm like, I need some fucking art lessons. I want to be an artist. I didn't get in for conduct reasons. And then
Conduct.
What
do you mean?
So like you're a kid, you get grades based on like academic performance and conduct. Just the conduct was just not there.
Gotcha.
Wasn't well conducted. I had quite a few like school police arrest reports.
Oh, so you were like cool. You're a cool kid in school.
Well, no, not really.
No?
No, dude.
Usually if you got arrested, that was it. They're like, he's the man, bro.
No, I was a problem. And like, because I was always put in the gifted program, there was like other kids that really cared about school next to me. And they're like, fuck you, try. Yeah. And I was like,
you're just doodling on your notebook.
Yeah. I'm like doodling like, fuck you. I'm gonna own you. But nobody would get me a tattoo machine. I'm like, I'm trying to figure this shit out. I don't know what the fuck to do. I had to get back into the flea market. That's where I knew I had to go home. I had to go home to the flea market because it was a free-for-all. Yeah. You could do anything. I mean, people were selling everything. I'm not snitching. They were selling everything in there. There's nothing you couldn't buy at this flea market. It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. I wish.
Which one was it?
It was Flea Market USA.
I know.
Anything goes on, man. It's so cool. And I was 22 for
10 years.
I'm because I thought about Superbad. I'm like, you can't just say 21. Like, how many fucking 21-year-olds do you think there are, dumbass? Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm 22 then. You know what I mean? I worked in a few just random shops, just trying to figure it out. The first guy, he just sold me my apprenticeship. I paid him $300. $300. I'll show you how to put some shit together.
Did you ask him for an apprenticeship?
Yeah.
You like went in.
I was like, yo, can you teach me how to tattoo?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, give me $300. So, I had saved up money for this iPod. I love music. I needed my iPod. I wanted the iPod Classic. Yeah. The 160 gigabyte one. And it was like $360. And then I had to sell it because I didn't have any money.
For the apprenticeship?
Yeah. Fuck. So I sold it, and I was there. I was supposed to be there for like 2 to 3 weeks, but the owner didn't know. Okay. So he's just an artist there. He's like, yo, just like when you're around here, don't say too much. I don't want the owner to find you out. I don't want him to kick you out. I'm like, why? Because then you have to give him a cut of your $300. Yeah. So I didn't. I had to just pretend like I was hanging. I was a fucking vagrant, just like a hanging around, loitering. Anyways, a week went by into my apprenticeship, shut the shop down, just fucking shut down. Like, I don't know what happened, but I can imagine what happened. Just some bullshit. But shut down. Cut my apprenticeship short. He's like, I'm like, where'd you go? Like, I had to go.
How long were you there?
A week. Fuck. So within a week, though, I learned how to line. I learned how to shade terribly. Right. I mean, so bad. It was like you get water and you get ink and then you get a big fucking mag and you just go like that until it's red. And when it starts bleeding, you just keep going. You use the blood to make a lighter shade. I was like, this is pain. Oh, on myself. I'm like, this is painful. Is this what I'm going to be doing to people? This doesn't seem right. All right, fine. But it's what I learned. And it's what I did for a while. I just... blood. It's called blood shading, bro. The blood siphons back in and, dilutes the black a little bit. You know about and then you get a lighter shade.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
I guess so.
Yeah. I got one tattoo on my thigh, and then I just went to other shops. I'm like, look, I can do this. This is what I did.
And they were cool running?
No. They were like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Go back to Taco Bell.
So anyway, I left my house.
Thanks, Grandma. Yeah, right. Yo, if my grandma could, she would have given me a tattoo machine. So it's so funny. So no, yeah. And then back to the flea market. And eventually, someone was like, "All right, kid, you can work here for free." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, I make 100% of what you make." All right. He's like, "How old are you?" He's like, I'm like, actually. He's like, "Let me see your ID." So you know, by that time, I'm like 15. He's like, "Yeah, no, I'll make 100% of what you make." And I'm like, the math is not math. You can keep a tip.
Right.
If they tip.
Okay.
You can keep a tip.
It's $1 for the tattoo, $100 tip included.
Yo, dude. Oh my God. Yeah. So some days I would I would make like $5, $10, $20 if I was lucky, and then that covered lunch, bus, and I was in there every day until they shut that shit down. And they shut it down. I mean, that's a terrible operation they had running. I was 16. Yeah. I was legitimately.
You're probably the oldest one working there.
I'm legitimately tattooing, and he loved passing me tats. That was the best part because he made 100% off me
with zero work.
Yeah, he was like, and I cleaned his tubes. It was the worst. He was my mentor. Like, but he was like, I couldn't even look over his shoulder. He was like, "What the fuck you doing, man? Back up, bro. Go clean them tubes."
Yeah.
And like, throw out the trash and clean. You know what I mean? So it was like an apprenticeship, except I didn't get to learn anything. I got to trial and error on people. It was weird. He was a genius. He made so much money off it. So yeah, easily. But
they got shut down, right?
Yeah.
How long? It lasted longer than a week though than the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was there a few months, and then
It's getting better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was this at the same flea market?
Same flea market.
Just
same
popping
flea
up.
market.
One drops, another one pops up.
Yeah. I'm just running, trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, why? Just trying to figure it out, bro. Getting scammed left and right, paying way too much for equipment, you know. $15 eBay machines. They're selling them to me for like $200.
Yeah.
You know, they're playing me left and right. Hey, all lessons, you know, whatever. I charge it to the game.
Cam, I'm going to see if you can do a guest spot at the swap shop. I'm going to hit up my boy.
Yo, that is such a good idea.
Right? Right?
You should do it, bro. You should do it.
Yeah.
It could be
Find
fun.
the worst shop you can work at and just go there.
This is how I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to be like, Cam's going to come work for you guys, and you're going to keep 100%.
He can keep the tips. Yeah. I don't regret it. I learned how to just appreciate so much and work, and I had to get in fights with people because I was learning on people. Now somebody like, oh, like, I don't know, is that cool, man? Fuck you and fuck them. You know, honestly, they didn't. Either way, they were paying. I think they were paying like $20. Like, these people did not give a shit. They came in like, how much?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, it's $5 a letter. It's right there.
Right.
Sign. Like, no, that's too much. $3 a letter. I'm like, kill me.
Right. You do 3 letters for 13.
I'll go set up.
I went to the vowels.
I'll go set up. It's free. Either way. I don't make $1 off it. So, can you buy me a sandwich?
You can tip me well.
You know? So, fuck, dude.
Yeah, we got one of those yesterday. Remember, Cam?
Yeah. You walked in.
Yeah,
he
was a fan.
You wanted a ruler.
Yeah, he wanted like a measuring tape on his
measuring
finger.
tape on his finger.
So he never needs to get a ruler again.
Just like that.
Yeah, he's a real heady guy.
Yeah. So you did it?
No, Adrian tells him the price. He tells him like $120. The dude's like, $120.
Right. I'm out of here. I go, great. We just lost a fan.
He's like, I'm out of here.
Because I'm like, all right, bro. Like, we're willing to compensate a little bit. We'll do the minimum. He goes, I don't want to spend more than $80. I'm like, all right, bro. Thanks for the support. I couldn't even give him a T-shirt because he's a little bigger.
Well, see, I would have never let something like that walk out of my shop.
Should have tackled him.
I would have sat him the fuck down immediately and like, here's a, and just in my head, I just gotta work faster. So I'm like, $80. I'm like doing math. I'm like, if I get this done in 40 minutes, I'm crushing it. Like I'm crushing it by the American economy standards.
Sure.
if you get it done in like 40 minutes, you're fucking killing it. And then if you can get 10 more in a day like that, then you're really crushing it. So for me, that guy for $80, I mean, you have to understand my standard was so low, 0.
Yeah.
For me, $80 was a dream. I'm already doing 10 people a day for 0. And I'm lucky if I get a sandwich and a bus ride. So for me, $80, I was like, dude, I'll take them all day. I'll stay here till 2 in the morning. I'll do 20 of them. That's $1,600 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our minimum, so I couldn't go down. $100 minimum.
I understand though, and like I used to get in arguments with our artists about it. Like, oh, you're too good to make, you know, between $40 and $80 in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, because if you are, what does that say about you?
Yeah. What does that say about me? You think you're better than me? I'll do that. I'll do that shit right now.
Yeah, bro. I would like same as you. Like I was living in Plantation, worked on Southwest 8th Street. I would hit you up, and I had no car.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, yo, if you bring me to the work today and pick me up, I'll do a free tattoo on you. Yeah. Like those are the kind of deals that are being made in these situations.
Dude.
Yo, and like I'm not gonna go all the way there, even on like the bus or whatever, to make $0. I'm at least coming home with $7.
Yeah,
you know?
at least. Yeah.
Right. But the mentality is different. And like we were talking earlier about the economy we're kind of in right now, and like tattooing's changed and apprenticeships are different, upbringings are different. You know, some people are just walking into a shop and it's like, here's an apprenticeship. We're going to cater to you and be super nice and fluffy. And it breeds a different kind of artist.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I think it has to do with, I think maybe our generation was just so scarred. And I don't know, I don't even know how old we are here, but I just know I belong to a different generation.
Sure.
Just because of how I grew up and whom I grew up with, I just know this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we associate certain things, maybe even wrongly.
True.
I think there's actually a lot of credit to be given to trauma and to certain things that we consider difficult that we wanted to omit giving to the next generation, and then we crippled them. We were like, oh, we're not going to do these things because they're too harmful for you. This is too difficult for you to handle.
Right. Like you shouldn't hit your apprentices anymore.
Yeah. You know, this is too, you're not tough enough for this. So, you know, we're going to spare you the rod. And then we see the outcome, you know, and I'm not one of those people that advocates for beating people, I think, like, or like children, or like discipline in this manner that is savage. But we swang to the other side of that, which is coddling. And we just coddled an entire fucking generation. And that same generation is looking at us complaining like, hey, what do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do?
There's
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's no money. I don't know what to do it. Like, go fucking get it. Like, what do you mean get it? What do you mean get it? Like, step out of my comfort zone to go get that?
Like
you put me in my comfort zone.
Shop and you're gonna bring it.
What do you mean? You're gonna put the client in my chair, do the stencil, and then like set up my machine, and maybe I'll like grab it and do it. So
you're in this generation.
No, I know. These are like my fault.
Listen up, baby.
No, 100%.
No, but it's our fault.
No, I agree.
It's our fault. Well, maybe not our fault. Maybe
it's a mix of a bunch of stuff. Social media hasn't helped. You know, like
it's all our fault, and now we have to fix it. And we have to fix it because we care about other people, right? Like we care about our offspring. If you plan, anyone here plans on having children, then they will be affected by this. Your lineage will be affected by this. So we have to do something. So now we're here like, all right, well, what do we do? Do we start beating them now? Like, do we start getting hard now? And like, what the fuck is going to happen?
I just homeschool them. I keep them in the shop for a very long time. And then it's like, okay, like when they start playing with the other kids, I'm like, don't do what they're doing. You know?
It's hard, and it's going to take a lot of people. So I guess you just have to start educating people one by one and hoping that collectively that knowledge will grow. And that's how it happens.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a bubble I'll use this. It's analogous to my tattoo career. I was in a bubble. No one taught me. So how did I learn these things? I felt like I was learning certain techniques and certain things at the same time. And I feel like I was tapped into the ether, right? Tapped into this awareness. And people might not understand that. But it is scientifically proven. Then they've done so many experiments on this. There was an experiment where they taught monkeys. There was monkeys on an island, and then monkeys on a coast that they can't. There's no way for them to communicate.
Separated, right?
And they taught these monkeys how to peel a fruit a certain way, and these monkeys learned the same thing. There is something great, right? There is something greater going. There is a level of connection that is not visible, and I feel like, believe it or not, I feel like that's how I learned. I just feel like that's how I learned, because there was people like doing micro realism and like working on new techniques like far away from me, you know, like fucking thousands of miles away from me. I have no idea who they are. We don't have contact. I'm not learning. There's no online seminars. I don't have a mentor, but I'm learning these things on my own separately from my peers around me. Like I'm in my own lane learning a technique. And some people would say, well, then you innovated it. But like it was too on time. Like it was too directly in the same amount of time to be the leader or like a pioneer of something if you're doing it at the same time as others, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to distinguish, well, you know, is this a photo finish? Like, did you come first? Did you come after? So it was a weird thing for me, but I felt like I was really tapped into that. Like I would just enter this weird headspace where I was like imagining what it could be like to execute this the way I think it could be.
Going off what you just said. No, I understand. You're in the swap shop for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when did you come out of that?
I started working in downtown.
Okay.
With the guy whose shop shut down in the flea market.
The first one?
So like I stopped for a little bit. I stopped tattooing for just like full time. I stopped career tattooing, believe it or not. I stopped when I was 18.
Okay.
I wanted to go to college for a little while. I wanted to study music. I love music. So for me, I didn't give a fuck whether I had a career in music or not. It's just, this is for me. I don't care. I love this shit. And so I went back to study music. I finished music theory 1, 2, and then I did some advanced courses in music. And I was back in downtown, and then he popped up a shop there. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. He's like, yo, what's up? You want to work part-time? And then, you know, there's no such thing.
Right.
There's no fucking such thing. You're there 24 hours a day. So
but I assume the swap shop years had one vibe, and then like coming out of it, maybe there was a different vibe.
Slightly.
Okay, but maybe not much then. That was like my
it was more cutthroat in the flea market. Sure. Because there were 10 tattoo shops. So a person walks into the flea market, and they're like aggressively being. So you really had to learn how to, I don't want to say seduce, but like charm and like
compete.
You had to compete. You had to be compelling. You had to be interesting, because nothing set. You were all shit. It was 10 shit tattoo artists and 10 shit shops. Nobody could fucking tat. Everyone thought they were. The only thing that separated you was whether the client liked you. So you had to learn how to talk, learn how to sell, and that's it. Like, how could you stand out? And there were ways to stand out. You learned them quickly, or you didn't, and you fucking failed. Here, it was different.
Did you have like a go-to sales pitch or like something that would catch attention?
Yeah. I would talk to people. Yeah. I would really talk to them. Hey, what do you want to get? Yeah. I would just genuinely show interest in the client. What do you want? Why do you want that? Your what? Your cat died? It was a what? Right. It was one of those big ones? Yeah, it oh my God, you spent $5,000 on a cat? Yeah. What happened? Your girl left you, and then you spent all your money on that cat? That's terrible, dude. I fucking love that cat.
You have more money? Because I'll tattoo you.
Yeah. You only have $20 left? Right. That's you spent all your money on the cat, and now you want to get your okay.
Yeah, it would look great with wings, dude.
I like that. Yeah, it would look great with wings. I love wings.
Right.
Wingstop.
You know about that, Cam?
Wingstop.
What you know about Wingstop?
Shit.
Buffalo sauce.
So speaking of sauce, I came into the downtown shop with a bit of that flea market sauce, and I'm here just saucing up college kids out of their, allowance, trying to get them to make bad decisions. Right?
Tattoo shop is a good place for that.
Yeah.
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 It's just a collective of bad decisions
It's pretty
from
much
the artists and the
currency.
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was enough, and then I started to make a living for a little while tattooing, which for me at the time was $400 a week.
Yeah.
And that was fucking solid. That's all I needed. My rent was $500. I was like, this is great. Unlimited bus card was $100.
Yeah.
So my overhead was very low. $400 a week was and I could spend all day at the tattoo shop. All day. I was
What were you buying with your excess money?
like
Once bills were paid. It's
Yeah.
time to buy fun stuff.
Oh, immediately. Because I made music often, so I was buying plugins. And upgrading my hardware. So just making my computer.
You got your iPod back?
Just specking it out. And I had a PC, and I was like, once I spec this shit out, I'm gonna sell it and then get a MacBook. So I would just spend money on parts for my computer. I would buy musical instruments and cameras. I spend I bought the first mirrorless camera. The first. It was the Nikon. It was the N1. The N1 or the NK1, NJ1. It was the first in its class. It was the first mirrorless system. So we went from DSLR to mirrorless. I bought the first Nikon. And then Sony came out. No, that was good. It was a good. And I was always invested in the future. So my excess money was always invested into the future of technology. I was like, okay, mirrorless, this is going somewhere. You're telling me you can do what a DSLR does with a live view through the lens, through the sensor, not through a separate component. Okay, I need to get in on that. I loved photography too, just art in general. And so that's where my excess money went, into photography, music, and that's it. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed.
Things were good. It sounds like you're making $400 a week. Bills are covered. You're fucking in the shop.
Yeah, crushing
You're
it.
full time.
Uh-huh.
How does it get better than that? Where does it go?
$500 a week.
$500 a week. Here we come. I needed a car.
Oh yeah, the bus card, unlimited.
It wasn't enough. And then it became very apparent, especially living in Miami, that it wasn't enough. It wasn't. By comparison, to compete as a young male, mailman. It didn't feel like enough, and but I was also very driven, right? I wanted good things, and I wasn't a person that believed that had to be luxury, but I understood, like, I just want the ability to obtain those things, and then to have the restraint to not fucking act like a jackass with money. You know what I mean? And that's a goal. That's a legitimate goal, to have the power and the money and the resource to fucking be frivolous and then have the maturity and the composure to not do that. But you got to get it first, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And there's usually a learning curve.
You don't know how you're gonna act. You want to see how a person acts. So give them a fuckload of money. You're gonna reveal their true nature.
Usually be disappointed.
You usually, and you know what? And I was disappointed in myself for a while. I was. I look back at so many things I did and so many, but it was so part of the process to even come to here now.
Right? Do you have one thing where you're like, I wish I didn't fucking do that? There's always like a few things.
There's always more than one too.
I wish there was like one of those things. There's a lot. I mean, gosh. Yeah.
But it's good that you learn from it, right? Because some people don't. They're like, cool, this is just how I'm going to live the rest of my life.
Forever. Yeah.
No, yeah, that wasn't the goal, you know. It was a part of it somehow. Like this trial and error process it's always what's taught me, you know.
Yeah. So you were like, okay, I'm making $400 a week. I'm in this stage, but I need a car. You know, there are a few things I have to upgrade. I'm seeing those around me. They have more. Maybe I'm not good enough, right?
Yes. This is the part where we get honest. I started selling stuff.
Sure.
You know, things here and there. And I wanted to learn how to make money. I wanted to learn also what it felt like, because it's a feeling. And I didn't know what that felt like. It wasn't given to me. And it didn't seem like anyone around me had it. So I had to figure it out. And I think I had to break things within my own moral compass. And the thing about my moral compass is that rules were more like suggestions.
Sure.
My whole life. So it wasn't that I felt like I was doing things that were inherently bad, but it was more that I didn't respect rules, because to me they were suggestions. And people that follow rules, well, then they're for you. They're not for me, because they're just suggestions to me. So I broke rules, suggestions, and I said, well, if I can successfully break these rules and learn how to make a certain amount of money, I can teach myself what that feeling is like. I wanted to tap into the feeling, the beingness of having, right? Of getting out of this lax state. It was hard because that territory came with other things, violence, and a lot of people. You attract a lot of people that are damaged, a lot of people on drugs, a lot of people that are coping. And so my world became filled with these kinds of people. And I was like, okay, I invited a different feeling. Oof, this is not it. This is not it. And the moment that I could reinvest that money back towards something more holistic, back into my art, I did it immediately. And I had enough money. I had a car, and I said, okay, this is enough. I have a car.
Yeah, that was the goal.
I have my MacBook, right?
All right.
Okay, I have tools. All right, let me, you know. Yeah,
so it was like you had tattooing, but it wasn't enough at the time. So you're like, I'm going to start a side project.
Yeah.
The side project goal was to be able to get more, but you're saying like with that came some unexpected negative things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
So
I reinvited the world that I was trying to leave. I got sucked deeper into it.
Right.
You know?
Was it hard to leave?
No, not for me.
Okay.
Because I wasn't attached to money.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to be like, fuck this.
Right.
I didn't.
Well, because I feel like we see it all the time, like people starting some kind of side project, and then the money comes in, and
then they
like,
can't leave
this is
it.
nice. Yeah.
You can't
They have
leave it.
trouble
No,
leaving
I
it.
left it. It was easy for me to leave. Because it wasn't my goal. My goal wasn't just to make money. And especially the feeling that was associated with it defeats the goal of money. For me, the purpose was resource, and to help me find the resources to heal certain things within myself and those around me. So this type of money brought more problems and not any amount of healing. So this doesn't work.
Did you think it would bring any problems or just solutions? Like when you're like, yo, I'm going to start this, were you expecting some extra problems?
I was aware of it. And when I was so into that world already that it was just like,
you weren't like naive
I was also numb to it. Like this is my existence. You know what I mean? This is it. So I didn't care. But when you have those brief moments of clarity and you're like, oh no, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This is not my goal. Like when I was 12 and like dreaming, this isn't it. Let's get back on track. Right. And all it took was that moment. I'm like in my bedroom crying alone. It's always like that. I'm like in a room crying for some reason, like alone, like having like an existential crisis. Like, and then I'm like, okay, this isn't it. All right, fucking wipe your tears. Let's go back. I did that immediately. I got up. I went and just started Googling shops again. I said, I'm going to get into a real shop and I'm going to give this a try again. And I'm going to, so I started looking up shops around me. I end up on South Beach working, which was cool. I had some walk-in culture and, slightly different crowd. And I'm able to do something. Again, able to earn a pretty sustainable, you know. Income. I did get to 500 actually. In case you wanted to know, I got to 500.
Boy.
Moving on. Coffee. Yeah, we got there.
So what do you like looking back at it now? Do you think that sidestep was necessary? Like you could have got to where you wanted without starting that side project?
I could only have gotten to where I wanted without that side project, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
But that was already so it's
Yeah. It seems like you learned from it.
yeah, I did. I learned a lot.
So
There's
now you're in South Beach making 500.
Well, there's a lot about it, and this part is missing to certain people, and it's the ability to sell. They don't got it in them.
Yeah.
There was a saying from the OGs. The game is to be sold, not told. Right? So no one can teach you how to do it. You got to go in, you got to fuck up, and you got to learn. And you lose a lot of money. They don't tell you about that. And it's actually a funny saying. Every time you lost some bread, you got to charge it to the game. That's it. You just charge it to the game. Every time, oh, that's a lesson. Don't worry about it. Charge it to the game. So I've been charging to the game for a while.
Right.
You know?
Racked up quite a bill.
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of the transition between talking with the clients about their tattoo appointments to having someone take those consultations for you, then start that process? Do you have a manager?
So, yes, I now have a booking manager. We started off our relationship as like an assistant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
So
just
that
need
was
help
the first
doing stuff.
transition? Like, hey, you're just going to help out. You're going to be an assistant?
Yeah, help me out. I got a lot of shit going on. Like, do this, that. Okay, cool. Look, let me show you how I answer my clients. This is how I talk to them.
Right.
'Cause I already knew how to sell.
Like, learn to be me.
Yeah, like, yes, how to talk to my clients the way I talk to them, because I'm very specific. And I honestly think I did a good fucking job. And that reflects.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, this is how you talk to them. Yeah. But I feel like you got to get there first. You can't, it's hard to hire someone to do that for you.
Right.
And I think a lot of people try to do that and outsource this talent.
Yeah, and I think what happens a lot is people like don't have clients or they're not as busy as they want, and then they'll hire a booking manager thinking they're like a marketer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, get me clients. You know, and I see, because like my transition was, things were building up. It was becoming a lot.
John, we got a question
And then
from Gunner.
my boy was just like around.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, oh, maybe at the end of the year I'll hire an assistant or something. And my boy just like needed a job.
Yeah.
So I remember I had this like really awesome person that I had in mind for the job. Well qualified, maybe even overqualified. They were going to crush it.
Yeah.
And then my like best friend's like, yo, I need a job. And I'm like, fuck. So I just hired him, you know, which ended up being like the best, but I really couldn't afford one. And I don't know if I needed one at the time.
Right.
But I think the one benefit is, since we were together so much, him learning how to like emulate what I was doing was pretty easy, because we were so comfortable and like knew each other.
Yeah, of course.
So he slid right into that position.
That's good.
But yeah, I feel like the first months, is him just fucking up and me being like, you're costing me so much money, bro.
Yes.
But then later, like,
you gotta charge that to the game.
Charge it to the game.
You have to. That happens. And also, you know, I sometimes my guy's Peter. You know, so like, oh, you lost that client. Oh, it's okay. Whatever, you lost like $4,000. It's like,
no big deal.
And I'm like, look, this is how you do it next time. I wouldn't get mad because, well, that wasn't gonna fucking do anything. I think I would probably come off as mildly irritated at the moment, but I understood that wasn't gonna accomplish shit, and that anyone is gonna fuck up because they're not doing what I do, or as long as I've done it. So there is a learning curve.
How could they know?
If you respect that, then we can just try to get rid of the emotion, pinpoint, all right, what happened? Why did we lose this sale? And more importantly, how can we prevent that in the future?
Right.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Most people don't have this problem. You were doing something right before you had the problem of, I need an assistant.
Sure.
And most people, you know what? it's not gonna happen. Like, let's get to the fucking meat of this. It's not gonna happen for most people. It's
where
just
they get to the point
it's just
where
not
they
gonna
need it.
fucking happen. It's not gonna happen. If you don't feel it, you'll know right now. Look in, think about it, and be like, do I feel like I'm gonna make it? Do I feel like it? The answer is either yes or no. You either know you are, or you either go to sleep and you're fucking dreaming of it. Like, as you go to sleep, you're like, I'm gonna be a great tattoo artist. Or you're thinking about your fucking cat. I don't know.
Right.
You're either thinking about it or you're not. And then there's either a certain level of conviction inside of you that it's going to happen or it's not. You're either gonna make it happen or it's not. How do you feel? That's it. And then if the answer is no, then let's talk about that. Well, why don't you feel that way? Do you want to feel that way? And then are you lying to yourself? Because some people, and a lot of people in this industry, they like to say like, well, I don't care about money.
Right.
I'm
It's
like
like, then why do you just
I'm
tattoo
modest.
for free?
I'm like, you know, man, it's
Then why
enough
don't you
for
give
me.
me 100%?
And then the truth is that's a lot. And now that doesn't mean people will conflate this. They'll think, oh, well, dude, I'm not really materialistic like that. That's not what I'm fucking saying. No one wants to, when they have the option, if the options are laid out, no one wants to be poor. No one wants to not have or worry, have to be like, oh, man, am I going to make rent this month, bro? No one wants to feel that way. So it's time for people to start being honest, because the fear of confronting that emotional response, the honesty of like, man, I don't want to be afraid this month. I don't want to be worried. Yo, I want to help my brother, mother, sister out. I want to do more than just for myself. If you can be honest and start to be help to others in the world and those around you, you can be honest with that, and you can become greater. So what happens is when you have that emotional honesty, now you're thinking, I do want to make more money. Right. Now you're going to sleep and you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I do want to be great at this. Now you have a little engine inside of you. And how big that engine is how well you're going to confront the situations when you got to charge it to the game. Because shit is going to happen, dude. Like, it's going to get in the way. And what's happening is that you're not overcoming those situations. Shit gets in the way and you fucking fold. You fucking fold. You're like, man, I can't do it, bro. Like, I lost my tattoo machine. It fucking broke on me. Dog, I'll tell you some shit, man. Like, I'm working with $100 shitty eBay overpriced fucking coil machine. My spring breaks in the middle of the tattoo. I gotta get up, make a spring. 90% of you don't know what a fucking spring is, so you don't know what I'm talking about. My spring breaks. I gotta go make one, find 16 gauge steel, cut it out in the middle of my session with fucking like cutting pliers, fix my machine. Yeah, 30, 40 minute break. My client has to go find some coffee or something to drink. I gotta come back, make the spring. Oh, this needle's fucking bust. Bro, like, the amount of shit, the bottlenecks in your operation, the stencil machine doesn't work. You're re-stenciling it by hand. She sweated it off completely. You got to fucking freehand the rest of it in. I mean.
And they're like, my battery died.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, my battery, you got an extra FK battery laying around?
Right.
My battery died. Fucking.
Yeah.
I only have one battery. So.
What's a Wi-Fi password?
The printer's not working. I don't know what to do.
All this shit. And you guys want advice. How do we get bookings? Want it. You either sit down on the toilet and take a shit, and you're either scrolling on TikTok or you're Googling what you're concerned about. You're doing one or two things.
Like research, yeah.
You're either learning about the shit you're complaining about, or you're so emotionally unable to deal with that you have to distract yourself. So you're either sitting down, scrolling through fucking social media, or you're researching, what can I do about this? And I know which one I did. Right? And it's not a miracle, not special. It's not, you just fucking did it. Like, that's it. Like, there was some level of gift, right? From God, right? Like, thank him, right? My love for art my willingness to continue, right, in that field. But the work is real. The work is real. And there's a lot of work. And it's a fucking insurmountable amount of work. And if you want to be great, you want to be really great at it, it's a lot of work. And you're doing it. So you're making little sacrifices.
Oh, yeah. Maybe big sacrifices, too.
I think it's more a higher quantity of smaller sacrifices that add up. At least in my mind. They're little sacrifices that add up.
And just to kind of like finalize on the answer to the original question,
which
it
is,
seems like with transitioning to like the manager, what I am hearing from you is like you have to kind of get to a point in your career first before that even makes sense.
Yeah, you have
like
to.
Be booked out. Like it has to be to the point for you and for me where it was
we had
it's too much for just me to do.
Right.
I need someone else.
We could break it down into steps. Step 1 is get good at tattooing. Like if you're not,
step 2, dog?
Like you're worried about. Step 1, get good.
Yeah.
Okay, once you're finished step 1, you're now in the market with other people that are as good as you, and there's a fucking lot of them. There's no shortage.
Every day there's more.
There's more. There's so many good tattoo artists. So what now? Okay, so step 1, get good. Right. Cool. You made it to the top 50%, right? You're in the 50th percentile. Let's get you to 75%. Be likable. So you don't have to be a people pleaser. Yeah. You don't have to be a people pleaser. And in fact, people pleasers are not likable. They're not likable. Authenticity is likable. So find comfort in your skin and accept who you are. Become more integrated with your personality. And then that will people will like you. That period. In fact, people kind of like assholes.
Right. So now you're good at tattooing. People like you.
People like you.
All right. We got a step 3.
Yeah. That's it.
No, like there's 2 steps.
There's 2 steps. I went too far, guys.
I like that.
Get good.
Right.
Be likable.
Right.
Cultivate yourself. So once you're good at tattooing and you start to cultivate yourself a little bit, you start to care for your appearance, your outwardly appearance, because people sit with you. Yeah. They look at you. They smell you. Look good, smell decent. Just care a little bit. And I say that because people tend to fall into a depressive state or be going through, and they stop caring for themselves, and it has the opposite effect. They're thinking like 100%. The world's going to pick them up and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry you fucking forgot to shower today.
I noticed you're in sweatpants. Can I help you?
It's not going to happen. People will run away from you. So even when you're in your worst condition, just try to show up, try to shower. It's very difficult. Try to shower, do your things, especially. And, people that are good at art, they tend to be sensitive. So they get affected by these worldly problems and their interpersonal relationships. So here's some advice. Do it. Like, get up, brush your teeth, fucking wash your face, put on some conditioner or something, and make sure your clothing is clean. Press it, iron it, steam it, something. Okay? So get good at tattooing. Care for yourself. Great. You should, if you did those 2 steps, you should be pretty booked. Like if you did steps 1 and 2, you're talking about 2 weeks to a month out booked. Right. That's pretty much all you need. If you did the first 2 steps, then you're not booked, then you might be confused about whether you did those steps or not. You might have not done it. You might not be as good as you think at tattooing, and people might not like you that much. Because your clients, if they like you, they'll return.
How did you practice step 1 and 2?
Still figuring it out.
Come on. All right.
I love that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still a young artist, so it's like.
But figuring it out, what does that mean?
So I guess like your probably like first concern would be like, get good.
Get good. How do you get good?
Practice. Sure. Trial and error over and over and over, trying new things, pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Guest spots, traveling, just
practice,
experimenting, changing your scenery, not staying stagnant is probably like the biggest thing. Is like staying stagnant is probably like biggest no, and I feel like all of us fall victim to it at least once or twice. It's hard not to get comfortable. So it's like staying out of your comfort zone. And then like, yeah, I'm a big person on like being likable, you know, like we've all ran into our fair share of like douches and just people you don't want to be around. I don't know. I feel like it's like hard to like tell if you're being a good person or not, you know, because it's subjective to like who's around you, you know. You can obviously tell whether you're being a piece of shit or not to somebody, you know, but
so that's the starting spot.
Yeah, you know, like don't be an asshole.
Well, that's why I said
part of being
actually
nice.
Be authentic. I didn't say be a good person, because if you're not naturally bubbly and like that, like you're more introverted,
fake it.
Just be your fucking self.
Yeah, I think like honesty is sometimes like a lot of people like beat around the bush, and it's like, yo, it's okay to be like honest with your clients if like their idea is not gonna work, instead of like sugarcoating and then maybe trying to do something that's not a good idea. You know, it's like a lot of those clients will appreciate that honesty as well, which is like what I've seen more recently, like especially with myself, is just trying to be more honest with my clientele, you know, like telling them whether you're like comfortable with doing something or not, you know, and just building that trust that way.
And then you can believe the feedback you get.
100%. If you're being authentic, yeah, like they're going to give you an authentic
right, because if you're faking this personality and you're getting feedback, it doesn't even matter because that's not who you are.
Yeah, it's like this feedback doesn't even like resonate with me like the whole way. So they are like really like two really good solid points you made, you know, just like working hard and being likable.
But I think people look past the client retention, kind of how you're saying, like, cool, dude comes in for like $80, like they're only seeing
they just want
like
floods.
$50-$60.
Yeah,
it's like, no, like if you're good to that client, it's like you don't believe in your client. Like you could help this person out and just give them what they want, and then all of a sudden they better themselves, they have a better job, and they grow, and now they're getting a back piece from you. You know, because you just took a second to like be cool to that
because
person.
You did their dog's name.
I'm gonna tell you something that people don't want to fucking hear. And honestly, my apprentices, if you're watching this, you should be watching this. And I'll tell you right now, you should, bro, if you're not booked out, look at me in my fucking eyes. If you're not booked out for, is it that camera? Can I hit that camera? If you're not booked out for months, if you're not booked out for 2, if you're not even booked out a fucking week, no one should walk in the shop and you say no. They should offer you $30 and a sandwich, and you should be like, yeah, let's run it. Because you get to practice. You got another person, another walking billboard in your arsenal, okay? Like, there's no social media that could ever have the same effect as a person out in the world walking with your art. That's it. They're out there wearing your shit. And like, if you did a good dude, fuck that. Fuck the $30, fuck the sandwich. Do the best job that you can ever do on that client so that they can walk out into the world and everyone stops them and says, oh my God, where did you get that sick fucking tat? And they're going to be like, oh, it's my boy Panda. Check him out. And I did that with 15,000 people.
Got sandwiches for days, boy. All right. Model Citizen used to be cool before Alex started wearing it. Are you tired of being unattractive to everyone around you? Well, not anymore. With the Model Citizen apparel, you'll be beating them off with a stick. Finally, tattoo clothing that is actual quality, that I can wear around and feel good. For real though, the quality of these clothes is top notch. This is like nothing you've ever seen before with a tattoo company. This isn't some Gildan bullshit. These are quality, hand-picked clothing. They have everything from vintage styles, oversized clothes, modern tees. Go to themodelcitizen.com. Get them before Alex does.
Panda, thank you so much for joining us, dude. Awesome episode. Super happy to have you here.
I really appreciate you, unlike Cam, being on time, coming, being responsible adult.
It is appreciated.
Trying, bro.
Me too, man. I'm not good at it.
You late for your client?
Hell yeah.
Oh shit. All right.
All right. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us on today's episode of Unemployable. Panda, thanks again, man. It was awesome having you.
Thank you, Batman and Robin.
Until next time.
We'll catch you guys next week.